HornsOverHoops podcast. It's been 2 weeks since we met. Got Dan Gracie and Sal Bass with me. It's been a rough 2 weeks. The Bulls went 1-4 during that time. Played a couple hard teams in Denver and Dallas. We had a couple winnable games, so I don't know what this team is. Do you guys want to kind of just go through, break down the games, what you kind of saw, and what we think happened during this week?
Yeah, that works.
So why don't you break down the Detroit and Indy games for us?
All right. Starting off, we have the Detroit game. The Bulls battled against a really, really young Detroit team. They did lose 118-102. Zach LaVine did lead the way with 51 points. The big three, or mediocre three, whatever we're calling them these days.
Mid three.
Yeah, mid three. They managed to score 83 points, 51 of them coming from Zach. One thing that stood out to me was Zach had 0 assists in that 51 points. Pat and Kobe had a scoreless game. This was a roller coaster ride from start to finish. Pretty much everything that we talked about in the prior podcast about going into Detroit happened. We came out flat-footed, and they took advantage of us. Couldn't cover the perimeter. We couldn't crash the defensive glass. It seemed like we were forcing a lot of shots. It was just, for lack of better words, a dumpster fire. What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, I thought it was just bad from start to finish. Like you said, Zach had 0 assists, and Kobe and Pat just didn't look good at all. Pat just came into the game looking worse than the night before. Yeah, I thought it was just bad all around. It was embarrassing.
One good thing, Zach did come out after all the criticism of him struggling with his shot, and he did show everybody up with the 51, but he came out thinking he was Kobe Bryant and thinking he doesn't have to pass the ball. One funny thing I did see on Twitter after the game was Connor Bedard, the rookie center for the Blackhawks, has scored in more games than Patrick Williams did after that. So that's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, so after that game, Bedard had 4 goals. Patrick Williams has scored in 3 games. And that was our, 5th or 6th game? Yeah. So that's a fun stat. How does that happen?
Yeah, that shouldn't be a thing.
The big thing, I'm glad they benched Patrick Williams after that game.
Was that the last game that Pat started?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, after that game, I think Billy just said, enough's enough. Rightfully so. He must have heard our podcast, because I did say it the last podcast. So Billy does listen to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, I think Zach listens too, because we were just talking insane trash about him, and then he dropped that 51. I mean, we still didn't win, but still. I'll talk trash about Zach all day long if he drops 51 points every night.
Yeah. I remember watching that game. I was at a buddy's house watching that game, and me and him were literally just talking trash about Zach, oh, he's so inconsistent. He'll score 31 game and then, go 0 for whatever the next game. And every time we talk trash, he hits a 3. And we're talking heat check 3s. You have no business taking those shots going in 3s. So we just continue to talk trash. But, in the end, came up with the L. There was really not much good coming from them other than Zach's 51. Again, Pat and Kobe scoreless. You hate to see it, especially. Those are 2 starters. You can't really go scoreless as a starter. You have to contribute. Tough loss.
That's why Pat got benched.
Well, yeah. We can. We'll have our voice our opinion about Pat later on, because I'm sure there's more to add other than what we added before. We might be throwing Kobe into the mix too.
One big thing to note from that game is we were out-rebounded 53-33. No one on the Bulls had more than 5 rebounds, which, how?
I don't know. You pretty much hit the head on the nail, if that's how that saying goes, about Isaiah Stewart. Duran was killing it. He was grabbing boards left and right. Vooch couldn't grab a board if he was the only one on the court. And I feel like down the stretch, we did have, because this game, it looks a lot further than what it was. I mean, we lost by 16, but at some points we were actually kind of battling with this team. I mean, that's saying a lot for a team that right now is 2-6, but we actually look like this was a very winnable game there for a while. Then towards the end, they just waxed the floor with us because we could not get a defensive rebound. We were allowing too many offensive boards.
Yeah, so luckily we had a nice bounce back win against the Pacers, which was a team that has been killing it all year before us.
That was my team. I picked that team to be good. I was a little nervous going into this game, so we took on the Indiana Pacers. We ended up winning that game by 7, 112-105. This was our very first comfortable win, and I think from start to finish, this was one of those games that's like, why haven't they been playing like this the whole time? Kobe White was showing a little bit more of being vocal, showing that leadership role, but he did get into some early foul trouble, causing him to be on the floor kind of limited. They were making smarter passes, better decision-making. It looks like whatever discussions they had after the Detroit game really came through. Everyone overall was playing better. Vooch had a monster game, 24 and 17, so when he couldn't grab a rebound the previous night, he grabbed 17 of them. Big Three came up with 67 combined. Got a little chippy at the end, though. I don't know, did you see that little scruffle between Zach and what's his name, Naismith or Namath?
I don't know. I don't know who that guy was, but yeah. I really liked to see Zach with a chip on his shoulder, kind of, because Zach's always been like that calm, laid back kind of guy. So it was weird seeing him get in someone's face. So I liked it. I like to see a little dog in the players.
Yeah, it's good for basketball, man. It's good for this team. It shows signs of life.
Well, we don't have a dog. We don't have anyone that can get in someone else's face. We had Patrick Beverly, I guess, but I mean that's Pat Bev. He doesn't intimidate anyone, does he?
No, he just talks a lot of shit.
Yeah, he's just a little chihuahua.
Yeah. It was good to see Levine actually get to the line. And that's something this team has struggled most of the games, and he got to the line 11 times. So he was driving, which we've been saying, quit shooting the three, drive to the basket. They only shot 17 threes that game, going from, I think they were averaging 40 a game. So
yeah,
they were actually driving to the basket. And look what happened. Oh, they won a game. It's almost like that's what their game should be.
Well, yeah, I mean, they should start driving, and then once teams start collapse, kick it out.
I think it's like we said it in the second episode. I mean, we just got too consumed with needing to shoot the three or needing to go for the long ball, because that was one of our bad stats the season before, that we're just taking unnecessary shots. The Bulls are perfectly set up to be a drive and kick team. I mean, Kobe can get to the bucket. He doesn't have to shoot it. He could just drive and kick it out. Somebody's going to be open, and I mean, let's just face the facts, guys. I mean, yeah, they're shooting terribly right now. I'd like to think that eventually down the road during the season, these shots are going to start going in. But I would like to see them actually develop a drive to the basket when we are shooting terribly, just so we can get those 2 points from the line. Like I said, we're relatively good shooting from the free throw line. I mean, even Andre Drummond isn't shooting that bad from the free throw line. So as long as we can get to the free throw line, I'd have to look up what we're shooting as a team from the line, but it's been really good. I'm surprised we don't take it to the cup more.
Live by 3, die by 3.
Yeah. We also shot a lot fewer threes this game, which is
I think that they realize that they're not a 3-point team. I think that's why they only shot 17 of them. I mean, out of that 17, they only made 3. Or I'm sorry, 6. So I mean, I feel like they realized, oh, maybe we shouldn't, like Scott said earlier, maybe we shouldn't shoot the 3. Maybe we need to just drive it, try to get to the line. If the defense collapse, we'll kick it out. We have Javon Carter. We have Torrey Craig. We have AC. So, I mean, they have guys that can shoot threes. They just need to be more consistent.
And the guys that can shoot threes are coming off the bench,
yeah,
which is
that's
too.
Another issue.
I mean, the thing about the Bulls is, I think I heard Stacey King say this, so we're going to quote Stacey King. You're going to say, I mean, the Bulls try their hardest to make up big deficits all in one drive. And what I'm guessing what he means by that is, let's say we achieve a 12-point deficit. I think the Bulls are just taking it up the court and firing up a shot at will just as soon as they reach they touch 3-point territory. And like I said before, we have 24 seconds. We don't have to pull up a shot that quick. Take some time, slow the game down, and get a quality shot. I'm not talking abandon the three altogether. The only thing I'm saying is make smarter decisions, move the ball a little better, don't force passes. I saw them trying to get it to Vooch, and they were making little forceful passes that these are NBA players. They're not gonna fall for that little shovel pass. Okay, it's gonna get picked every single time. But just move the ball around the perimeter. You're eventually gonna find an open guy who will be open for the shot. If he misses it, change your game plan up a little bit, drive the cup a little more.
One thing I did notice about that game was DeRozan just could not get his mid-range going. Every single one was short. I think he might have airballed a couple, but...
Did he airball 2 threes? 2 threes?
I think so, yeah. He was just off that day.
Yeah, well, that's because we're taking a player who made a game out of one particular way, and we try to turn him into a different player. So DeMar DeRozan made his game out of the drive or the mid-range, and now... 15 years into the league, we're saying, well, no, now you got to start shooting threes. That's not what made DeMar DeRozan. That's not what got DeMar DeRozan his 20+ thousand points. Okay. He got them from those mid-range and driving, getting to the foul line. And that's what he brings as a player.
Yeah. So rough game in, we won that game actually.
We won that game.
Yeah. We won the Indy game. Unfortunately, after we beat Indy, we did not continue the win streak. We played Dallas, and we lost 114-105. The game was a lot closer than the final score says. I think it was like a 3-point game with 2 minutes left. And somehow the Bulls only scored 5 points in those 2 minutes. We did a really good job keeping Luka locked down. He looked frustrated most of the game. I think he actually got teed up yelling at the refs.
Luka should have been tossed. He should have been tossed in the first half. All the chit-chatting he was doing at the refs. He yelled at a ref.
Yeah, she was not having that at all.
And good on her.
Yep. I think he was coming into that game, he was averaging like 39 points a game. I think we held him to 18, and 7 of those came from the free throw line. So he was struggling from everywhere. I think he went 1 for 8 from 3. He was making bad passes. The one thing is we were doubling him, and that caused a lot of issues because people were wide open from the 3. And Grant Williams and Tim Hardaway Jr. absolutely destroyed us. I think the Mavs eventually went 20 for 48 from 3, and 14 of those came from those two. Grant Williams set a career high of 25. And I think Tim Hardaway had 24 off the bench. We also really struggled to box out, and the Mavs really took advantage of that. They had 24 second chance points that game, and Derek Lively had 7 offensive rebounds. I don't know what was happening. It seemed like the only person that was actually trying to get boards was Vooch, who had a really good game. He had a 20 rebound game. He went 20 and 20, and just the rest of the team just didn't try. I think there was one time we had like 5 like tip backs, and we chucked up bad threes every single time and missed them.
What?
Yeah. There was one play that it was like 4 or 5, just like we kept hitting it back to each other, and we just kept chucking up bad threes. Pat continued to struggle. I think he went 0 for 6 again, so he just wasn't good. I think he went 0 for 6 from 3.
He didn't score at all.
He didn't score. So 2 games in a row he didn't score?
Yeah, he didn't score at all that game.
Yeah. So the good thing was Zach continued his offense. I think he got 24 points, and he went 5 for 9 from 3. We just fell apart in the end. And really part of that is Zach kind of gave up at the end. He let people like blow by him on the baseline. It's like use the out of bounds as another defender, and he kind of just stood there and let him do that.
Yeah, there was a lot of Ole.
I think what made Zach kind of stop was when he got dunked on by Derek Jones Jr. That was a great dunk. And you could tell that Zach, once that happened, like, I don't know if you guys saw like Zach's face or anything, but you could tell like 1, he was pissed, and 2, he was just done. He was done. He was like, what are we doing here?
Man, I miss DJ.
Yeah, he had a good game. He dropped 17 and he got 5 rebounds. I do remember he drained that 3 in the corner right next to the Bulls bench. And man, you could tell that he was talking trash. He was talking so much trash at our bench.
Well, yeah, because look how we utilized him when he was on our team, and I think he started this game.
I totally understand why he declined his option to stay with the team.
He was the like hype guy off the bench. He got the team going. We did have a good game from our bench. Between Drummond, Javon Carter, and Ayo, they missed 4 shots.
I mean, yeah, Javon Carter leading that with 12.
I really wish they played Ayo a bit more. And Carter, both of them. Kobe White hasn't shown he can do it.
I mean, you're right, but I also feel like Billy's trying to figure out how to play all 3 of these guards. So maybe adjustments will come. But then again, it's Billy, so who really knows?
The one good thing that did come out of that game is big shout out to Debo. He did pass my man Larry Legend on the all-time scoring list. He has since actually passed CP3 and Gary Payton, which I was actually kind of surprised CP3 was still playing. I think I found out today that he was playing on the Warriors. So
I think he even starts.
He does
not.
No,
I don't think he starts. I think he was starting, but then I think he's like, I remember seeing an article not too long ago about like it's Chris Paul's first time coming off the bench. I think it was the last game that he came off the bench for the first time in his career.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they were running, CP3, Steph, Clay at the 3, then Draymond, and then what's his face at center? Kuminga?
Looney,
I'm saying. Yeah, that was a big game for Debo. Another big game for Vooch. Did you guys know this? Dan, you'll like this one. Vooch did get 20 and 20, like you mentioned, Scott. Do you guys know the last player to achieve a 20 and 20 game for the Chicago Bulls?
Was it Pau Gasol?
It was Pau Gasol in 2014.
Pau Gasol was he was a sleeper. People slept on him at his old age.
Pau Gasol was the babysitter of that team. It was like a man amongst a bunch of kids.
No, I mean, because Derek was still there.
I think he was just so Yeah, but
Derek wasn't a leader.
Yeah.
He was still the quiet Derek that he...
And actually, I think that was the last year Derek was there, because didn't he get moved in 2015? Fairly
positive. Probably right.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could just see it in Pau's face. He's like, I'm so done with this team.
We need to bring Robin Lopez back.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. If we intimidate the opposing team's mascot by Robin Lopez beating the snot out of him every game, maybe we'll win more.
I think he left because I called him Shaggy that one time.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. We all went to a game, and Dan called him Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. He actually turned around and looked at Dan and gave him a bad look, too.
No, I thought he chuckled. Man, I tell people that he chuckles at that. Now Robin Lopez hates
I'll have to look it up. I still have the video from that game. I think he was turned around and sneered at you. But
can we talk about how we never see Benny the Bull anymore? I know there's a new guy. It's just he's never on TV. I feel like we used to see him just randomly show up on the broadcast, and you just never see him anymore.
Maybe he's practicing for his debut. I mean, lately they've had that get this in the splash zone.
The popcorn ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. You saw that every episode or every game, or him just being on the floor, just screwing around, and you don't see that anymore.
I mean, he is one of the best mascots, and I don't know about sports, but at least basketball history. Right, he's got to be in the top 5 for basketball mascots. It's up there.
There's a lot of terrible looking NBA mascots.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
We can have an episode on the mascots alone.
The Thunder. I still don't know. The Thunder's a bear or something like that.
No,
Rumble the Bison.
He's a
bison. Rumble the Bison.
He's a bison. You ever been to?
Oh, come on.
Is he? Wait, what is?
He's a bison.
It's a bison. You can't hate on Rumble the Bison.
The Suns is a gorilla because that makes sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. But I mean, it's been that since the 90s, so nostalgia.
Right. So we had the in-season game next. So that was a whole different thing, even though it wasn't. I don't know.
I mean, no. So I thought it was really cool. Yeah, Zach and DeMar both had 24 points. Kobe had 18 points. Vooch had a double-double with 13 and 13. I thought it was really cool that they unveiled like a new court because it was like the first time in Bulls history that they had a new court like ever. So I thought that was pretty dope. It was very red and it was almost too red. Like it hurt my eyes.
It was way too bright.
Just like, and as I was watching the game, I was wondering like if it was messing with like the players' like vision at all, but I don't think it did. Yeah, because I mean, we lost by what, 2 points?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, for the first like in season tournament game, I felt like they played with a little bit more heart. Like they knew something was on the line. It wasn't just another game in the season. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. They also unveiled the new city jerseys, which I know a lot of people are like shitting on the city jerseys this year, but I really like the Bulls ones at least because it, pays tribute to the Chicago Stadium.
It grew on me. It did. When I saw them, I'm like, no, these are.
I mean, yeah. At first I thought it was like some knockoff Walmart jersey, but after I learned a little bit more about the history of it and everything, I thought they were pretty dope.
Yeah.
I might pick one up.
Yeah, even the court, how they, it's paid tribute to the old Chicago Stadium. Once all that came together, it's like, okay, they did a good job. Yeah, that court did take some getting used to, though. I mean, for the first 5 minutes of watching that game, I was like you. My eyes were starting to hurt.
Yeah, it almost gave me a headache just watching the game.
Yeah.
Really wish they would have kept like inside the 3-point line, just like wood colored. I thought that would have looked a lot better. Instead of all just red.
Yeah. Well, they had that.
Or at least, or just a darker red. Like it was so red. It was too red.
Well, they had that one red, and then the middle they had that darker red. They had that.
That's what they should have done for the whole court.
Yeah.
And then have that middle, that runway area, have that like just have that be black.
But I will say this, like, not because I'm biased, because they're my team, but the Bulls did have like one of the sickest looking courts out of all 30 teams.
I don't know. My favorite court was Boston's. I thought Boston's was pretty sick, and I really loved Utah's. It was all purple.
That's an oddity. I was so pissed at the end of that game too. Okay, what do you guys think of Zach's shot at the end of that game? Because we know the scenario. Zach's at the line. He makes he makes the first one. Okay, putting them down by. I'm sorry, he misses the first one, putting them down by.
Yeah, because it got down. It got down to the wire. It was so he came. It came down to where he had to miss one free throw to at least win the game. Just to tie the game, right?
Yeah, because what it was is they were down by 2. So if he would have made it, they would have been down by 1 with 4 seconds left, and they had no more timeouts. So what they would have had to done was foul them, put them at the line, and then either chuck a Hail Mary pass to get a decent shot off, or what Zach tried to do, and he did it relatively well. He did what he had to do. And that's miss the shot purposefully, but get the rebound back. I don't know if he got afraid and then just chucked up some random turnaround shot, but I thought he had a little bit more time. Then again, I've never been put in an opportunity that I have to, shoot to win a game, but I still think he could have taken a better shot than what he chucked up there at the end of the game.
I think he was a little startled that he got the ball. Like he was just like, well, it's in my hand, and then did not know what to do. Didn't know that he had the time to take it. But that's exactly the type of shot Zach would take. He has one of the lowest basketball IQs I've seen in a long time. He just does not think. If you watched Caruso when he got the ball, Caruso was wide open and he just looked pissed because he knew it was going to be a bad shot.
Well, yeah, I mean, wasn't he didn't even like clap his hands and everything after Zach took the shot out of like frustration. Because I'm not faulting Zach for taking a shot or anything. I mean, there was 4 seconds left on the clock, and he got his own rebound off the miss, not knowing that he was going to get the ball back immediately. So I understand why he took the shot. I think he could have taken a better shot or given it to Caruso. But yeah, I think he was I feel like it just all happened so fast for him that he didn't know what to do.
He was startled.
He just chucked up a fader. Yeah, spooked. But yeah, I don't think he needed to take that fader. Like he could have planted his feet and taken a regular shot. He there's no need for that.
One good thing we did see out of that game is Patrick Williams looked really comfortable coming off the bench. And
yeah,
I hope they kind of keep him in that role. He's not a starter.
No, he's not a starter at all. I think he's at best like a six man. I think he would be a great six man.
Is it time? Is it time is it time for the Pat Williams talk?
You want to go off on Pat Williams? Go for it.
Oh, I've been holding this back all week.
Hold it. Go for it.
I wasn't even aware of
Weeks.
this. I wasn't aware of this.
All right, we're gonna get real. We're gonna get real here on the Horns Over Hoops
Hold
podcast.
On. Time out, real quick, Sal. Before you go off, real quick, can I just say that Pat Williams has been shooting 12% from three. That's all I want to say. Go ahead, Sal.
Was that your attempt to calm me down?
No. I just that's just one Pat fact that stood out to me.
So here it is. Pat Williams. I touched on this last podcast. Has been a roller coaster of a ball player. Okay. I don't think he is an NBA starter. Unfortunately, I think the Bulls are trying at this point, they're trying so hard not to admit defeat and to look foolish for taking a 4th overall pick in Patrick Williams that they're trying to force his role. Patrick Williams, at best, is an NBA 6-man. Okay? I say that going forward, if he ever averages 10 points off the bench, he will have had a successful career. Had we have selected Patrick Williams with a 20th pick or even, heck, 18th and lower, okay, he would have been a successful pick. The problem was drafting him that high, we had such high expectations on him that it's almost like we tainted him. I don't want to speak for him because, I don't know how he feels, but it's almost like we put too much pressure on that kid's shoulder that they ended up choking, okay? Because I think on the floor, even anyone else could admit it. When you're on the floor with Zach LaVine, Vucevic, DeMar DeRozan, arguably Hall of Famer caliber, okay? And now they're telling you, well, now you got to be the man, okay? You got to step up. You got to be the person. And here's little Patrick Williams thinking, well, I'm not the man. They're the man. I'll try, okay? His confidence is in the tank. Now bring him in with that second unit away from those two. His confidence is a little higher because he's like, okay, now they're not here to bail me out. Now I'm the man. Now I'm going to step up and take those minutes. Okay. I think that it was strategically planned that they pulled his contract offer or didn't even offer him a contract. I think if Pat Williams was, I don't want to call him not smart, but if he wanted to go down a different path, he would step up his game right now because he should know that if he steps it up, he'll get a contract offer. But I just don't think that he's that good of a player. In conclusion, we're probably going to keep him on the team, but we need to keep him as he is now, a bench player. That's all he's going to be. He's never going to be the starter for our team. I think this draft coming up, we need to take a look at a different player at his position because he is not cutting it. We've given him 5 years. What is this, 4 years? 4 years. Like, how long does it take to even be relevant? 0 points in 2 games as a starting power forward. My blood pressure is dangerously high. I love the kid. He's still one of my favorite players on the team because he's that guy you want to cheer for. He's that underdog. But my goodness, Pat, you're killing me. All right, I'm climbing off the soapbox.
So I'm looking at that draft. He was drafted as a small forward, and the 2 small forwards picked after him was Isaac Okoro and Danny Avita, which both are averaging, they're about the same. They're averaging like 9 points a game. So not really much difference. Power forward wise, you got Obi Toppin, Obi Toppin's a good player. But you got, I don't even know how to say his name, Okanagwu. He went to the Hawks, but he's also not that good. Like, it wasn't a good draft class. The only other good player that got picked after him, like, actually good player, was Halliburton. And that was, 8 picks after him? So, really, you wouldn't have got a better player in that draft. It wasn't a bad pick for the Bulls. It just wasn't a good draft.
No, yeah. No, and that's the thing. I agree. When there's no talent in a draft pool, even even a number one pick is shameful. But I mean, the team. I guess the best way to put it is teams have this stigma where it's draft for the position you need, not the best available player. And that's kind of something that I never believed in. I believe if there is a player in the draft that's going to either A, change the dynamic of your team, or be that 1 in a million player, you pick him no matter what position he is. I mean, that's what hurt Portland in the 1984 draft when they skipped on Michael Jordan. They picked the player that they had. They had Clyde Drexler.
You can't put Portland in this discussion when it comes to drafts. That you know their history when it comes to that kind of stuff.
No. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just saying that drafting for the position you need sometime, like Halliburton. What do we need right now more than water in the desert? A point guard. Okay, we could have had Halliburton, who is a tall point guard who can actually play point guard, and we elected to go for Patrick Williams. Yes, we needed a small forward, but you know what?
Also, this real quick, this draft class, like, yeah, it's not like top tier or anything, but like Cole Anthony's in here. Maxey went
Killian
21.
Hayes is a decent point guard. He was picked a couple, like 3 picks.
Emmanuel Quickly's in here. Desmond Bain is in here.
Yeah, I mean, the list goes on and on.
But you don't know how these players are going to be in the later picks. You're just kind of picking. It's just
right.
So I don't blame the Bulls for picking Patrick Williams, but not what we expected him to be.
They were all touting how he's going to be the next Kawhi Leonard and everything. I think that kind of played into it as well.
Yeah. I mean, when there's hype behind a player, it always, it pushes the weight to one side of, I see how good Kawhi is. I see a player that looks just like a baby version of Kawhi. Maybe he's going to be the next Kawhi.
I mean, at least we didn't draft James Wiseman.
Right. And at least we didn't trade LaMarcus Aldridge for Tyrese Thomas. But that's another story.
I forgot about that.
Jumping back to this in-season tournament thing, I loved when I don't know if you guys saw this, when they talked to Bones from, who's he on?
It was San Antonio.
San Antonio? I don't know. These
Bones Highland. They asked him about it, and he's like, if you really want to know, I have no idea what's going on. It feels like, it feels like the players don't really know what's going on, but somehow these games have been super competitive. I think most of them have been like 2 or 3 point games.
Yeah, like it seemed like, okay, maybe Bowens didn't know what's going on, but I felt like at least the majority of the league knew that it was a tournament game because, I mean, those games that night was, oh my God. It was like what Christmas should have been like.
Yeah, and honestly, like we discussed in the previous episode, if Adam Silver's job was to make a few more games that count throughout the season, he definitely got his plan with that one because, a lot of those games were neck and neck. Ours was down to the last shot, like we just said. Did you guys know that I was listening to Bulls Talk podcast last night? Shout out to them. I didn't know that the NBA schedule was based off of 80 games, not 82. Those 2 games are the in-season games. And did you know that the championship game doesn't even count for stats or anything?
I did know that.
You did know that? Okay.
So
yeah. So
what do you mean it doesn't count?
It's kind of like the play-in. It means nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so whatever stats you accumulate. So, essentially so let's just go here. If you score 101 points and break Wilt's record, it doesn't count.
Okay. That's
dumb. You just get bragging rights and everybody says, you're still a bitch. Doesn't count.
But I'm liking it. I mean, I think once we see more of it, we'll like it a little more than we do.
So far I think it's pretty good.
I mean, they did a good job. I love the courts. I love the special jersey. I mean, the hype is there. I was watching it at work, and even the guys were like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. A couple of the guys who, never watch basketball were like, oh, I like what they did with the floor, and they were getting into the game. So he definitely was appealing to more audience. That's for sure.
Yeah, I saw an article that was about just the courts, and it was pretty much saying like, they wanted to find a way to get even like the casual fans to notice like, oh, this this is not a normal game. And I think they executed that like perfectly with the courts.
Yeah, they did. Because I was, that was the one thing I was explaining at work is no, this is an in-season game. Whenever you see this court, it's an in-season. Whenever you see their normal court, it's a regular season court, game. And
right.
I wasn't about to go through and try to explain what an in-season tournament was to people who don't watch basketball because I don't even 100% know myself. So I think I would have just lost brain cells.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
But I like it. I mean, I like that you're not going to know, you don't know who's going to win. I like that you can't tell right off the bat who's going to win because you don't find out the bracket until group stage is done.
Yep.
I mean,
well,
bravo. I like it.
I can tell you we're not going to beat the Celtics. But
no. So I'm just like, oh, the Celtics are going to win.
I'm just hoping we can win a game out of the group stage.
Yeah, I just don't want to get eliminated. That's all.
I think we can beat the Magic.
That's my big thing.
I hope we can beat the Magic.
But we'll see. All right. So, rough loss against the Nets. And then we went into Denver. And that game, I was watching just like the injury list beforehand, and it was like half the team was like game time decision. I think DeMar was possibly resting. Zach was having back issues. You had both the Joker and Murray on the injury list as game time decisions. And I was like, is anybody actually going to play? Turns out they all did. So that was not a fun game to watch. It was fun for about a half. I think it was we might have actually been winning at half. And then the second half happened.
I mean, I didn't watch the game. I was too upset after that Nets loss. And I also noticed that they didn't play Denver till like 8. So with my schedule, it was kind of hard for me just to stay awake and watch it. But I had a feeling that we were going to lose. I mean, it's Denver. They're the reigning champions for a reason. So, Sal, what did you think?
Well, I mean, from the gates, they played a very good first half. I mean, honestly, for the Bulls playing as terrible as they've been playing this year, going up against, the defending champions, I thought they handled them pretty well in the first half. Was it Denver just wasn't playing to their full caliber, or were we stepping up? I mean, I don't know. I don't know which way to lean. But yeah, after that first half, it was absolute dumpster fire. The Bulls, unfortunately, are back to their old ways of not knowing heads or tails how to guard the perimeter. They left Reggie Jackson open for a couple threes. They left Michael Porter Jr., which is a man in this league you should never leave alone on the court at all. They left him open. He ended the game up with 27 points. Aaron Gordon just bodied us on the boards. He ended up with 12 boards. And then the end of the day, Jokic was pretty much Jokic. 28 points, 16 rebounds, 9 assists. I mean, he should be MVP this year. I'm calling it now. He's
the man's a monster.
Yeah. And he does it so casually. That's the thing that a lot of NBA fans need to realize is the man, when he's playing, first off, his build, he's not built like an NBA player. Okay. He's built like a regular human being. And he's making these shots and grabbing these boards like it's so easy. He's the definition of he makes it look easy.
Yeah, he really does. He's that asshole friend that you have that is good at everything that just happens to be an NBA player.
Right.
Comes in, doesn't want to warm up, just like, okay, let's do this.
Right.
Then drops like 30 points.
Right. Yeah, he almost had a triple-double. that night.
One assist short.
Good God.
Which, the way we were playing, it wouldn't have taken long. That would have just been one extra kick to Michael Porter. We lost by 22 points that game. They outscored us, 72-48 in the final half? That's ridiculous. We did go toe-to-toe them with the first half, like I said, but that second half, it just got away with us. I don't know what Mike Malone said to them at the half.
It was a rough game.
Yeah. It's been a rough stretch. We went, like you said, 1-4 those games. And this is a team that we were talking a couple weeks ago, we're going to be 6th, in the East.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
let's
a
just
lot.
take that back.
Let's make it. Yeah, I would take it back.
There's several things.
We're a playing team.
There's several things we said that we should take back.
I was off hype. I am sorry, everyone.
I'm not going to count us out yet. It's a long season.
I think I think at best we might be a play-in team.
Yeah. Well, that leads us to, what do you think is actually fixable on this team? What would you guys do to fix this team?
So, okay, I'm glad you asked that because I've been thinking about it like the last like couple of days. Like, if we did decide to blow it up, what would we do? Like, where would we send Zach? Like, yeah, there's rumors of him maybe going to what, Philly? Like, I don't want anyone on the Sixers. Like, because I know they're for sure not going to give up Embiid. They're not going to give up Maxi. So I don't want Tobias Harris because that's just gonna, do nothing for
Give
the
us
team.
some of those picks they just got for Harden.
Yeah, I just want picks. If we were to blow this team up, I would just want picks, and then you can start Patrick Williams. Because if we have no if we have no Demar, no Vooch, and no Zach, might as well start
Tank Commander.
Pat. Hopefully, Pat finds his rhythm and finds his groove once he's like the only player on the team, and maybe you can build around him.
I mean, well, sure, nobody would be watching the games anymore, so the pressure would be off.
Exactly. Well, I mean, fans would. Fans would. Chicago loves to go to the basketball games. I don't know why. We'll be the worst team in the league, and they'll still like sell out the stadium
and be super expensive too.
Yeah. Well, oh my God! Don't even get me started on Jerry.
That's another episode on its own.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I agree with you. But they would have to be a 3-team deal. I don't think that Philly has the assets to give us. I mean, they have the assets, but I don't think they'd be willing to give it up. In a sense of, you just traded James Harden for pick. Why are you going to go ahead and trade those picks to the Bulls just for Zach LaVine? I mean, Zach is a talented player, but I mean, in my opinion, I'd rather have picks to a good draft than Zach. Just saying.
Well, what if we trade Zach to Memphis, get Derrick Rose and some company and get a pick back in return, like get like Desmond Bain.
How's that help us?
I mean, it doesn't, but we're tanking, right?
But
so
why would they do it?
Because they would get an elite scorer like in Zach LaVine. You would have, when Ja comes back, you have Ja, Zach,
They're the same player.
Jackson Jr.
They're the same player.
Yeah, but I mean, Ja is more of a point guard than
it's an option.
I mean, honestly, the only trade that I would make is I would try to get DeMar and Zach, maybe trade them. I mean, it's hard to.
I don't know where to put these guys.
Exactly.
I don't know where
that's
to
not
put
up
them.
to
Because if you
us,
look
though.
at
Where you get something in return, where we would get something good in return.
No, exactly. I mean, you need to.
So I feel like maybe that's why they're not doing anything. And I feel like if they do anything, it's going to be in the off season.
Right.
We're going to be stuck with this team for the entire season.
So then that's my next question is, when do you blow it up? When do you pull the trigger and say, all right, enough's enough?
The off season.
You know what I mean? No, you want to wait till the off season?
It'll be trade.
I don't want to wait till the off season, but knowing the history of the Chicago Bulls, it's gonna be in the off season because they're not gonna. When have the Bulls ever made a big splash in February?
When they traded for Vooch.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, damn. See, I'm in Garpax. I'm in Garpax mindset.
Yeah.
But still, that didn't work out though. The Vooch trade. I mean, I don't think it really worked out. Looking back, I mean, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you guys see that article that Vincent Goodwill put out? He kind of quoted Zach about the players only meeting.
no.
Maybe.
Yeah, so basically, he kind of said that Billy walked in on their meeting. It wasn't an actually players only meeting. It was just them talking, and he kind of just put the blame on Billy for the dysfunction of the team. He also said that there's 3 all-star players on the team, and they got to make it work from top to bottom. And it's just not the players that are the issues. It's the whole organization that needs to work on it.
There's a whole organization. Yeah. I 100% agree.
The one funny thing is Pat Bev on his podcast, they were talking about it, and he called all 3 of them out saying what they're saying is bullshit, and they need to start actually listening to Billy and take responsibility for their own actions. Which Pat Bev, he knows what the team's like, but Pat Bev also talks a lot of shit. But it's
but I mean, who better to say it than somebody who actually just left the team?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think. Pat played for Chicago. He was loved in Chicago. Why didn't he stay? You know what I'm saying? Pat Beverly saw something that we didn't see with this organization.
He wanted too much money. That's why he didn't stay.
Well, yeah, there's always money.
I'm not going to pay Pat that much money.
No, but I mean, there's ways you can entice a player to stay in their hometown with the fans that love them more than just money.
I don't know. I think Pat wants a ring more than anything.
Oh, sure. You know, who doesn't? Is it a fair assumption to say that the only way to fix the team is to blow it up top to bottom? I'm saying GM to...
Oh, front office as well?
Yeah. Well, I wish you...
The AK is not going anywhere.
No. It's going to take a while for them to get established. But the thing is, I think Billy as a coach, his reign should be done.
Well, I mean, he's got the extension that kicks in after this season.
Yeah, I mean,
so I don't think Billy's going to go anywhere.
I mean, here's the thing. You know, is he a good coach? Maybe. Does he have the tools that he needs to win the games on our team? Maybe not.
I think he has the tools. I think so what Pat Bev said, I take a grain of salt with that. I do think that I think it's mainly Zach needs to listen.
Yeah. Well, I think here's my personal opinion, okay, about Zach. This is not, and it's not anything personal. It's just, I think once Zach heard the rumors, because if the fans hear it, you know, the players hear it before the fans do. Once Zach heard that they were shuffling him to the Lakers, they're shuffling him to the Knicks, they're shuffling him to all these teams that are potential contenders, I think Zach is doing good enough just to keep the hype real. I think Zach LaVine secretly hopes that we do end up making a deal with one of those marquee teams, sending him away from the Bulls, because I don't really see him being a fan of Chicago. There's players on our team that you can see that they are a fan of Chicago, the Chicago lifestyle, the fan base, everything. And that does not seem to be Zach LaVine. For instance, DeMar DeRozan, you could tell he's a fan of Chicago, you know, from Los Angeles, but you could tell he loves being a Chicago athlete. Zach LaVine doesn't really fit that mold for me. So I'm thinking he is just doing good enough to keep up those trade chatters. Do I think we'll move him? No. Who's going to want Zach LaVine? He makes way too much money, and I think what he brings to a table that an NBA team is looking for, they already have it. So I think we're stuck with him, unfortunately.
No, I think teams want him. I just don't think the return that the Bulls will get is worth it.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
that's what I'm saying. Like, would you trade Zach LaVine for Tobias Harris just to get him out of the city? No. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Not saying that would ever be a trade, but that would be the offers that you'd be getting.
No, I think we'd get more than that. But
if I'll trade Zach for Maxey.
Yeah, but
Maxey and some other players in a pick.
Sure, but look at it from Philadelphia's point of view. Would you trade Tyrese Maxey for Zach LaVine if you're the Philly GM? No, exactly. You know, I would like to see. I'll be honest with you. I would like to see them work a deal out with Toronto. Maybe get OG or Scotty Barnes down here, you know, or Siakam. Any of them. I mean, they're toying around with a rebuild on their own. I'm sure some of those pieces have to be, I'll say, somewhat affordable. And I think either one of those names will benefit our teams.
Yeah, but like what you said, like, what does that do for Toronto? Like, yeah, they're rebuilding, but then Zach has like 3 years left on his contract?
Well, it would have to be a 3-team deal. I mean, I'm pretty much convinced that when you're moving a player the caliber of a Zach LaVine, and I mean caliber as in monetarily, you'd have to incorporate another team just to get the salaries to match us out.
I never thought I'd say this, but like maybe trade him for Ben Simmons. I mean, we need a point guard.
We'd still need a point guard after Ben Simmons.
I don't know. Ben Simmons is really good at moving the ball.
Yeah, and that's Billy's style of play. Push the pace, move the ball.
Yeah, but there's one thing Ben Simmons can't do that Billy wants his players to do.
Shoot.
Well, no, but he'd be the facilitator.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get
And
it.
he would be able to drive to
Yeah.
the rack, and that would collapse the defense, be able to kick it out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like the money would work, and it's not New York, but hey, it's Brooklyn.
Yeah. I mean, there's endless possibilities, but I think they all point down towards, I think we've pretty much answered our own question. I don't think there's anything this team can do this season to help themselves unless we wake up and start putting forth more effort. My opinion.
No, I think they just need to buy in to what Billy's pushing, and pretty much just defend the perimeter. That's all you really need to do is play some defense, guys.
Yeah,
Zach,
we have
he
like
doesn't know
3
how to.
players that can.
They're all coming off the bench.
Yeah, exactly. I think who are our best perimeter defenders? Caruso, is an anomaly. He can defend anybody. I put Ayo up there.
And Craig.
Torrey Craig, yeah. I mean,
Craig starts now.
yeah.
Carter. Sorry, Carter.
I mean, he's a great trap defender. I've seen him pick up those traps and force turnovers. As far as a hand in your face defender, maybe. I don't know.
Talking about Craig?
Yeah. No, Carter. JC.
Oh, Carter? No, I like him. I think he's a solid defender. I think get some cookies.
Yeah, steals, yeah, but I'm saying as far as a perimeter defender, I think our only real perimeter defenders are Torrey Craig and Caruso.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because we'll put you this way: if the rest of the team if there were more names, we wouldn't be looking at stat lines where teams are dropping multiple 3-pointers on us.
Yep.
True. Yeah, I feel like every team that we play always ends up shooting around 50%, which should not be a thing for any team.
Hey, can
No.
I want to shift off this a little bit and
Yeah.
kind of ask you guys. I saw this on the Bulls subreddit, and I kind of changed it. So the Bulls subreddit question was, if you're making an all-time Bulls team, who is the backup point guard coming off your bench? So I kind of want to change it to it's 2 things. I want the whole team, your whole bench, like backup.
Do we just pick 5 players?
So the 5, point guard, shooting guard.
I was just like this full
But
roster.
I want to see what you guys say for not when they are on the Bulls, but in their prime. So if they played for the Bulls, I want to see what you say those 5 people are, and then if that makes sense. So like,
just to be clear, so if I say like Tyson Chandler, it's not Tyson Chandler like in his prime. It would be Tyson Chandler's time as a Bull.
I want one as when they're a Bull, so like your backups as them as a Bull, and then one as in their prime. So yeah, if that kind of makes sense. So like
Sal, I'm gonna let you go first.
Yes, like Pau Gasol. We got him at the end of his career, but Pau Gasol was a monster in his prime. So
yeah,
who would your backups be?
All right. Well, do you want me to go center first or point guard first?
I want you to run through your all 5 positions. Do the prime one first.
Do the prime one first?
Yeah, because I have that list. In their prime.
Okay. In their prime, I mean, you got to say point guard. You got to go to my boy Jay Crossover, Jamal Crawford. I mean, the man, arguably one of the best 6-mans of all time. I think in his prime, the Bulls were unlucky enough to not get him on the team and trade him away too quickly in our prime. The man can drop 50 on you. The man is a 4-point machine.
The guy still balls. I saw like highlights during like the Big 3 league. The guy can, oh my God. Anytime Jamal Crawford's dribbling towards you backwards, you're in trouble.
Yeah, like how does this man not have a job in the NBA right now?
He's 40. He's 40. Isn't he like 40?
He's too old.
Yeah. But I mean, if it's a 3-point game, he can be a not a pick and pop, a pop-up 3 shooter. I mean, but that's who I'm picking at point guard.
All right, shooting guard.
Shooting guard, I'm gonna go for my boy, Mr. Fourth Quarter before DeMar got here, and Ben Gordon. I think Ben Gordon was highly under.
You're in their prime. Ben Gordon is the backup shooting guard.
backup shooting
Ben
guard
Gordon in his
In his prime.
prime?
in his prime.
Is
Okay.
going to be your
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
okay?
here's the thing. Here, and let me explain this. Okay.
Yeah, you're going to have to explain.
Okay. Because Ben Gordon, what people don't realize about Ben Gordon is when Ben Gordon laced up the shoes and time to play, and he knew that the game was on his shoulder, he was not afraid to step up and hit those shots. I'll reference you guys to the Boston games. I'll reference you to the 20-point fourth quarters that he dropped. I mean, the man was a beast. If it wasn't for our organization just pissing him off, I'll just call it like it is, he would have been up there with the greats of this team. But unfortunately, I think we shipped him off to Detroit, or we didn't pick up we shipped him off to Detroit.
Yep.
And we never got to see his true potential. But a lot of people hate on Ben Gordon. And I mean, this is a bench, right? I mean, we're talking about the bench.
Yep.
What better way than to get 20 points off the bench?
All right.
I mean, 20 plus points off the bench.
Who's your small forward?
You just said Jamal.
Who's your small
Crawford.
forward?
I mean, small forward.
Yeah.
If you give it to anyone other than Luol Deng,
Okay.
it's
Yep.
Blasphemy.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, Luol Deng borderline needs his number up in the rafters.
Power forward.
Power forward, my boy Horace Grant.
All right. And center.
See, this one was hard because, in my opinion, okay, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. I think Ben Wallace, in his prime, was a better backup center, or a better center than Pau Gasol. Okay, yes, Pau Gasol is a champion, multiple champions, but Ben Wallace won a champion not being carried by Kobe Bryant. I mean, we're talking one of the best defensive centers to play in our generation.
So pissed. You can't be talking about
Why?
it like that. He's so mad. That was his guy.
No. I'm gonna let him finish.
Am I going to finish, Kanye?
I'm gonna let him finish.
All right, listen. For those of you who don't know, Dan is a diehard Laker fan as well.
I'm not. I was a Kobe fan and I'm a Powell fan.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not a Laker fan.
But this is why I'm picking Ben over Powell, and it's because he brings defense. I play my mindset of basketball is under your guards score, your centers prevent scoring and get rebounds. And I think rebounding, blocks, and pure intimidation, Ben Wallace brings that tenfold. If I already have a high scoring guards, I'm looking to accomplish other parts on the court. You know, Horace Grant plays down low. He can get you blocks. He can get you rebounds. Ben Wallace gets you blocks, gets you rebounds. Sure, he'll get you 4 points, but he'll bring you 20 rebounds. I mean, not to say that Pau Gasol is not good. Don't get me wrong. But how many of those championships did Pau Gasol win because of a man named Kobe Bean Bryant? Dan's going to come beat the snot out of me after this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm missing...
I'm not. I'm not.
Everybody knows Derek Fisher was the reason they won.
Yeah, that was it.
All right.
D-Fish.
All right.
D-Fish.
Give me your prime, Dan.
All right. So your list was clowning.
Yeah.
All right. So prime. I'm going with Captain Kirk off the bench.
So
Get
this
that
is
defense.
remember this is any. I'm not persuading you. Just any point guard that's ever played for the Bulls.
Oh, well, then I'm going to prime. I'm going to go Rajon Rondo.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Okay.
I'm going Rajon Rondo all day if it's prime. And also if it's prime again, I'm going to, for my two guard, I'm picking Dwayne Wade.
Oh, yeah.
Coming in off the bench.
Okay. All right.
Straight clown and Sal.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Who's your small forward?
My small forward. Oh, okay. See, that's tough because if it's prime, I might. I don't want to. I might pick Jimmy over Luol Deng.
Okay.
Ooh.
For prime. Prime. I love Luol Deng, but I'm going to go with Jimmy. For power forward, I'm going Pau Gasol. Prime, Pau Gasol.
Okay. And center?
Prime, Joakim Noah. the man who was almost MVP.
Wait, you wouldn't put Joakim Noah as our best center of all time?
No.
Who do you got, Artis?
Yes.
Okay, I could respect that. I never seen him play, but I could respect that. It's a solid pick.
All right. I cop.
Whoa. You.
Yeah,
Now
no,
it's your
I'm
turn.
going.
Okay.
He's going.
I
Dang.
agreed with Dan with Rondo and Wade. I said Luol Deng as the small forward. The power forward, you guys are not going to see this coming. Charles Oakley.
Oh, okay.
I forgot. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. Okay. For a second, I thought you were going to say
No.
Jesus. You said you were not going to see this coming.
Charles
He would be
Oakley.
Okay. Solid.
And
What about
Ben
center?
Wallace. Ben Wallace was
Yeah.
probably the reason why they won that championship. Well,
Yeah.
other than
It
Chauncey,
is.
but Ben Wallace was a monster.
Are you telling me?
Yeah, I would take Ben.
It wasn't because of Richard Hamilton?
Hey,
Okay.
the masked man,
That's Sales Boy Rip.
but
R.I.P.
That man needs to be arrested for stealing a contract from the city of Chicago. Absolute garbage signing that year.
yeah.
We can have a whole episode on just the devastation I felt when I saw that we signed Richard Hamilton and he sat on the bench.
I remember. I was at your apartment.
You hated him every game he played. I'm going to go through quick about while they're on the polls. Captain Kirk, Jimmy, Dang, Horace Grant, and Noah.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
just
so
bench?
this is like,
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
if
No, I got
when they're on the Bulls,
Yeah.
like not in their prime, just when they're on the Bulls, you have that.
Yeah. Mine is probably going to be Kirk, Jimmy, Luol.
Say Boozer, say it. Just say it.
I'm not going to say it.
Just say it.
I'm not. I'll
Bob
say
Love.
Horace
Bob
Grant. No, I'll say Horace Grant and then Joe
Yeah.
Keep.
Sal.
Well, I mean, I pretty much point guard. Yeah, probably. I'll pick the same lineup. I'll pick point guard. I'll stick with Jamal Crawford, even though he was a shooting guard. Shooting guard. I'll still pick Ben Gordon. Small forward. I'll definitely pick Dang. I mean,
Yeah.
Power forward.
Grant
I'm
Williams.
still gonna
Peter
pick
Grant.
Horace. And then center. I'm gonna pick Omer Ashik. No, I'm kidding.
Pick Aaron Gray.
Yeah.
He's the power forward, man.
The White Panther.
Yeah.
Oh, was he? Pick Kurt Thomas.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna pick Nasty Nas. No, I'll pick Joe.
Big Scales.
Yeah, no, what? He was power forward.
Can you change your small forward to Larry Hughes?
Wasn't he a shooting guard?
I don't know, man.
I think
Okay,
it was.
let the Horns Over Hoops podcast listeners know that I actually have a Luol Deng jersey signed by Larry Hughes.
Why?
That's not a flex.
So no, it's not a flex at all. And actually, if Luol Deng ever listens to this episode, I'm probably going to get canceled by him. But
Yeah.
I was at a Bulls game, and it was our very first time sitting really close. And the tunnel is right off to where we were sitting, and that's where the players came out. And of course, I had nothing for the man to sign, and it was Larry Hughes who came out. I had nothing for him to sign, so I took off my Luol Deng jersey and kind of hid the number and just held it in my hand, and he signed my Luol Deng jersey.
All right.
That's story time with Sal.
Sal getting weird stuff signed.
Oh, remember, what was it, my Zaza Pachulia signing? I stood in line to get a picture of Zaza Pachulia. He signed my Michael Red jersey.
So,
What?
was it a line of one person?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I went to.
Wait, how many? Wait,
Goodwill.
time out. How many jerseys do you have signed by other players?
Oh, just those two.
Just those two.
Just those two. Yeah, Dan's dad was he still is a Milwaukee Bucks season ticket
Yeah,
holder.
my dad still. Yes.
So Dan
yes,
took me
my
one of
dad
the
is.
games, and I'm big on if you're going to a game, you're wearing a jersey, but I'm not going to drop the coin on a jersey. So I went to Goodwill, and they had a Michael Legend jersey, And yeah, Dan's right. I was like one of 5 people in line to get an autograph from Zaza Pachulia. I didn't even know that was Zaza Pachulia. He just looked like a normal person.
He's a tall guy.
And
he's a tall foreign, tall foreign guy. Yeah,
tall foreign.
Yeah. So he ended up signing my Michael Red number 22 jersey. I'm sure he was not at all surprised that I wasn't wearing a number 27 Zaza Pachulia jersey.
Why do you know what number he was?
What? Because when there's players
I don't think Zaza remembers what number he wore.
Well, that's because he was on like 14 different teams. It's hard to keep track of them all.
Okay. All right.
Well, that was good story time.
Sal, you got a game for us this week?
I do. I was really excited for this one. So I'm going to ask you guys this because of how subpar, if not toilet level, our season is so far. It's really got us looking into the draft and to see if we can get our talents in the draft. So I challenge you, my co-hosts here. How many Chicago Bulls draft picks can you list in 60 seconds? Doesn't matter what year. In 60 seconds, name as many first-round draft picks that the Chicago Bulls have drafted. It in any order. Doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be any particular order. Doesn't have to be any particular decade. Just they have to be first-round draft picks. They don't even have to have played with the teams. They could be like draft night trades, but they had to have been picked by the Chicago Bulls. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Let me know when you guys are ready.
Wait. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Scott, do you want to go
I haven't.
how do we?
You're gonna.
Were we writing it down? Sorry.
You have something ready?
Sorry. Obviously. Hold on. I am not ready.
So if we traded a pick like mid-season, or does the trade have to be draft night?
Well, no. If the Chicago Bulls picked a player
okay.
in the draft,
all right,
and let me know when you guys are ready. Now, the thing is, they had to have been drafted by the Bulls. Just keep that in mind.
Yep.
Oh God. Okay, sure. I'm ready. I'm gonna lose bad.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Ready, set, and go. And while my co-hosts are filling that out, I once again like to thank the support from all our listeners. We received tremendous feedback from our last podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you. Go ahead and slide over to our Instagram page at HornsOverHoop Podcast. There you're going to find our newly launched link tree. You're going to find a link to our Discord. Go ahead and join that. We talk about the games and play a bunch of fun games with each other in there. So come on in, join the community, have some fun, and show your love for the Bulls. We got about 25 seconds less.
My God.
I don't know, Dan. I got my money on you.
No, you shouldn't.
I don't know. Scott looks like he's done. All right, you got about 5 seconds left.
I'm done.
Oh, you're done. You listed them all. And time. Dan has listed every draft pick from 1966 to 2023.
I only got 9. That was fucking terrible.
How many?
See, I only got 8.
All right, well, I got to confirm them. They have to be first round draft picks.
Okay.
All right. Who wants to start?
Dan, go for it.
Okay, so I got Derrick Rose.
Okay.
Joakim Noah.
Okay.
Kirk Heinrich. Tyson Chandler. Pat Williams.
Okay.
Kobe White.
Okay.
Larry Marketing.
Okay. Well, actually, hold on. Did we pick him or did Minnesota pick him?
Oh shit!
Hold on. I'm confirming it. We did not draft Larry Marketing.
Okay. LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, I was hoping somebody would have gotten that one.
And Jeff Teague.
No.
No, was he second round?
His name was Marcus Teague.
Oh, Marcus.
Yeah.
Marcus.
No,
sorry, it was Marcus. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Jeff Teague.
He was the 29th pick in 2012. Yep.
Okay, that's my list. Was Jimmy Butler a second round pick?
No, he was the first.
Was he first? Okay, then I put Jimmy Butler down as well.
So
Okay, so that's 9.
Okay.
no,
That's-
he
that's
only had
it.
8, right? Because
8.
Yeah.
Yep, because Lori doesn't
Okay.
count. Okay, so
Right.
8. Solid number, man. That's solid. All right,
Yes.
Scott, what
all
you
right,
got?
Kirk Heinrich, Jordan,
Yep.
Noah,
Okay.
Oh, duh, Michael Jordan.
Jimmy Butler, Wendell Carter,
Yep.
Marcus
Yep.
Teague,
I forgot about Wendell.
Yep.
Franz Wagner.
Let me see.
Franz
here.
Wagner.
Uh,
Yeah,
Yep.
no, we
And
drafted him, then we
then
traded him.
what year?
Same
Jet
with
Howard,
Murray,
too.
right?
Because both of them, the only reason I know that is because I was researching what the Vooch trade was, and those are both players that were part of that trade. Well, the draft stock.
Okay.
Right.
Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Uh,
I can't believe I
yeah, we
forgot
did draft.
Michael and Scotty.
That's all I had.
Idiot.
so what did you have?
I had 9.
9. Okay. Does anybody know? This is okay. Does anybody know the player that we traded and the team on how we got Luol Deng?
Player we traded and
Yeah.
no.
So we didn't draft Luol Deng. We got him from another. Obviously we got him from another team. What was the player that we traded and drafted as opposed to him? And the team, rather.
The Clippers.
No. It is a Western.
Is it East or West?
It is
It's
West. Yeah.
Was it the Lakers?
No.
Is it the Sonics?
No.
Can we get a... Who was he traded with?
Who was he traded
Yeah.
with? Like the team?
Yeah. No, like what player did he get traded for?
Who did he get traded for?
He got traded. So okay. Well, it's part of the question, but he got traded for a player named Jackson
I
Vroman.
have no idea who that is.
Okay, so
No,
in the 2004 NBA draft, we selected Jackson Vroman in the second round at 31st overall, and we traded him to the Phoenix Suns for Luol Deng. I think that's one of the very rare times that we've actually won a draft day trade.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just thinking about draft picks right now.
That's a steal.
I miss.
Mhm.
There's so many I missed, and I'm pissed. Like Derrick Rose, I missed. I miss McDermott.
You miss Ben Gordon.
Dude, I miss Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I miss what?
Yeah.
Somebody got I forgot who it was. I think it was Dan. You got the LaMarcus Aldridge
Yeah.
one. I was impressed for that. I didn't hear any Jay Williams. I didn't hear any Eddie Curry.
I was trying to remember Jay Williams' name.
Oh, I forgot about Ed Curry.
Yeah. Nobody said Elton Brand or Ron Artest.
Oh, I forgot about Elton Brand.
Yep.
You mean when Meta World Peace? I don't know.
Or Tyson
Who's Ron
Chandler.
Artest?
Tyson Chandler.
I said Tyson.
Yeah, he did
Oh,
say
you did?
Tyson.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about our boy Will Perdue? No one said Will Perdue.
Yeah.
BJ Armstrong, Horace Grant. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Well, yeah. From the 60s.
Steve Kerr.
Did we draft Steve Kerr? I don't think so.
Okay.
Didn't we draft Luke Longley? We drafted Luke Longley, didn't we?
I think I think he came over from like Dallas. I'm fairly positive. Yeah, he came over from
Oh, no.
Dallas.
Kukoc. Didn't we draft Kukoc?
Yeah,
That was a second round pick.
second round pick. That
Was the second round?
that was our only
I
pick
just remember-
in 1990.
just remember Michael talking about him in the last dance.
Yeah. No, little fact here. You guys know Pete Myers, our old assistant coach.
Never heard about him.
Yeah, he was drafted. He was drafted in the 6th round, 160 something overall. Or I'm sorry,
Glad they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, could you imagine just sitting there for hours on end, because let's face it, I don't think anyone's making that team. In fact, I don't even know some of these players on this list back here. Granted, it was a long time ago, but
I'm looking at this list, and this is going to piss you off, Dan.
What?
Chandler Hutchinson,
yeah,
Denzel Valentine,
Yeah.
Bobby Portis,
Yeah.
Nurkic, and Gary Harris were both picked by us.
Yeah.
Let's see. Norris Cole, he barely played for us. Taj Gibson, we missed.
I don't think he didn't.
I thought he was second round.
Norris Cole didn't play for us. We traded him to Miami.
He went to Minnesota and then Minnesota, Miami. Yeah. Ben Gordon, we missed.
3rd overall.
Jay Williams, Eddie Curry, Marcus Frazier.
Marcus Fizer.
Yeah. Elton Brand, you said.
Dalen Terry.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Anyway.
A lot of bad picks and a lot of players that moved off our team.
Yeah.
And were better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show you that we have actually, if you look at it, the Chicago Bulls draft pretty well. I'm a little upset that nobody said Tony Snell, but I mean, that's just me.
Yeah. Chandler Hutchinson is officially retired, by the way.
Good. I hope he retired after he talked shit about the Bulls.
All right. This has been a long one. Went over a lot this one. We got a couple things coming up. We're actually doing another episode where we're going to actually do a breakdown of the NBA. We want to do one once a month, kind of go through how the league's been doing, which teams have been doing well, which teams have been kind of disappointing, and go through how some of the rookies are doing, who we think is going to probably win Rookie of the Year and things like that. And then go through some of the MVP candidates. And we also have a special interview episode that's coming out. I interviewed one of my friends that is a huge basketball fan, huge into NBA betting. So he kind of gives some perspective on what he's kind of looking through there. And we talk a lot of college basketball. So that should be coming out soon. So we're planning on doing a couple more of them soon. We have one being lined up with a guy from Australia named Scott, huge NBA fan. So we're going to see what it's like the NBA culture or basketball culture in Australia, because Australia has really turned around their basketball program and they're becoming a powerhouse, and just how he got into watching the NBA. So that should be really interesting. And we're trying to line one up too with a guy that runs a Chicago sports Facebook page. And he used to run a Chicago Bulls podcast, also named Running with the Size Shitty Bulls. So a couple more interviews coming up, but be on the lookout for that between our normal episode releases. Putting out some more content. We're planning on doing the release of the normal episodes every 2 weeks, and releasing some of those interviews in between. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to follow us on our Instagram, the Horns Over Hoops podcast, and Twitter. We have a Discord now. You can find our link on the Discord, and I believe it's on the Instagram too. Yeah, join our Discord. Like Sal said, we talk during the games. We kind of break them down, basically complain about the team, and ask why they keep shooting threes. Definitely join up. Thanks for joining us this week.
Have a good night, Chicago fans.
See Red.
Go Bulls, and go John Lucas III.
Oh.